Hello YouTube, and welcome to another episode of I Accidentally Messed Everything Up. If you recall way back in episode 1, I said, so I'll play it safe the first time round, and I shall just defeat all the monsters that I found. Well, what I really meant to say was, destroy everything! So, what's basically happened was, there was a very distinct difference between No Mercy and Genocide. Now, I thought to myself as I was playing through this Genocide run, I thought, the events that are happening, they are very, very similar to what I had experienced in the Pacifist run. And that, to me, it didn't sound right. So, I went away for a bit, avoided the plethora of spoilers that were out there, and realised that what I was actually doing was not a Genocide run, but it was actually a No Mercy run. No Mercy is where you kill every monster you come across. In order to do a Genocide run, I actually need to actively go out there and kill every single monster. And when I say kill every single monster, I mean literally kill every single monster in every single area so that no monsters appear. Now, before I get much further into the game, I put my feelings in a bottle, threw them out the window, and thought to myself, no, I need to fix this now before we get any further in the game. So this episode, this 6.5 episode, is just a short montage which basically showcases the differences between the original No Mercy route I did and the Genocide route, which is where we'll be continuing from this point onwards. So, without further hesitation, let's go back in time and kill everything. So, to begin the montage, I'll talk a little bit about what happened in the ruins. For the most part, everything played out exactly as how we saw in the No Mercy run. Flowey attacked us, Toriel came to our rescue, and then for the most part, it was just a case of having to go around and ensuring that not only do I kill every monster I came across, but I also made sure that no other monsters would appear. Now, I knew I'd been successful at this point when you find a monster, but it came up with the rather ominous message saying, but nobody came. At that point, I knew it was safe to continue, so as we went on, we come across our first difference. When we approached Napsterbluke, instead of initiating the fight like we did in the original run, he actually just disappeared. Next up was talking to Toriel. Now, for the most part, when we first met Toriel, her dialogue was identical. With the only real difference being that when we initiated the fight with her, she was killed in one shot. Now, I was absolutely shocked when she just went down in one go. I was expecting it to be more like the first time round where you'd have to whittle her health down. The result was still the same though, you know, we ended up killing her. But this new section of dialogue which she was saying really establishes you as the true monster in this game, potentially foreshadowing the horrific events that are going to follow after you go through the ruins door and venture to the rest of the underground. So after travelling through the ruins door, we come across our next difference, which was different dialogue which Flowey greets you with after the battle with Toriel. Although, to be honest, you can hardly call it a battle when you just kill her in one shot. It's almost as if Flowey recognises you as someone else. At this point, he doesn't elaborate on it, but mentions that he has some sort of a plan which he'd like your help with. I don't know what this could mean, but I assume we'll find out a little bit later on. Upon exiting the ruins, again, you meet Sans, so pretty much normal there. However, this is where the bulk of the differences soon start to become apparent. So it's almost as if, like, in the beginning, you all start on a level playing field. But the more you start traveling through the game, the more the differences start to appear to the player. So in this particular instance, we have a completely different set of actions from the character that you're playing as, and also, as a result of this, Sans' reactions to the player are also different in his dialogue. So as we can see here, when he prompts you to take certain actions, so like in the past when we would have hid behind the lamp, in this case, your character just stands there and doesn't really do anything. And this is greeted by Sans' reaction to the player as if, oh, well, okay then, you're being weird, so whatever. Other differences with the Skelly Bros included Sans asking you to keep pretending to be a human, and also the way in which you interact with puzzles and Papyrus throughout travelling to Snowdin. For example, when we get to the electric maze, your character just walks straight through it without even attempting to try it. Now, at this point, you actually have no user interaction with your character. This is all happening on screen without any prompt from yourself. And also with the tile maze as well, your character does exactly the same thing, walks straight through it, and essentially breaks Papyrus's poor heart. I mean, he just is so defeated at this point. He's done. He just leaves you instructions to say, get on with it with yourself. It's almost like he's given up. He's not gonna try and do the whole puzzle thing with you anymore. Upon coming to the end of the snow forest, we meet Sans and Papyrus for one final time. The main difference here being that we get the signature warning message from Sans saying, you're gonna have a bad time. After this is where the differences really start to become apparent. He seemingly teleports away, and upon travelling through Snowdin, we find that the area has actually been evacuated, and the music is slightly different as well. After having a quick look around town, I decided to continue on and fight Papyrus. In a similar fashion to Toriel, he also went down in one hit, and I kind of expected it at this point that Papyrus might go down in one hit after what happened with Toriel, but it was still just as heartbreaking seeing his head fall off and then seeing him just completely turn into dust. So with Papyrus out the way, the next port of call was checking out the waterfall area. Now, this started off exactly the same as how it was in the No Mercy run. We had Undyne there, scouting the area. She continued to chase us through the waterfall area, trying to kill us at various opportunities. We met Monster Kid as well. Again, nothing really much happened with him. There was some slight dialogue differences, but nothing too much worth mentioning. I managed to find ballet shoes as well, which I missed the first time round, so now I've got a slightly different weapon equipped for the next part of this playthrough. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the point at which we are at now. So, for you guys out there with some keen eyes, you will have noticed that I haven't got to the same point that I left it at. If you look back onto the end of episode 6, I'd already saved Monster Kid from falling off the bridge at that point. Now, I'm actually at this point at this moment in time, so I haven't saved him yet. That event is just about to happen now. The reason being I left it is because I don't actually know what's going to happen. Given the fact that the character has had some reactions on its own, so for example, when we were at the puzzles part, your character was doing stuff without user input. I don't know if the same thing is going to happen this time round with Monster Kid and being saved when he's hanging on to the bridge when he trips. So that's why I've stopped it at this point, because I want to go through it with you guys. I don't know what's going to happen, but I want to see what happens, and I didn't want to miss it So I'm just taking the opportunity now so we can just go through this together. So that brings us to the end of this short montage video. It's like I said at the beginning, this was just a short video showing the differences between what happened in the No Mercy run and what happened now when I quickly ran through the Genocide run. If you guys want to see what happens next, tune into our video, episode 7. I've got an annotation with the link on it now. Click that video and we'll see what happens.